What looks like a setback is really setting you up for the next level of your destiny. I want to talk to you today about it's a setup. Everything in your life has been carefully orchestrated. Before you were born, He laid out a specific plan for you. Nothing randomly happens. Not just the good breaks, but even the closed doors, the disappointments, the betrayals. That's all a part of God's plan. It may not make sense, it wasn't fair, but God wouldn't have allowed it if it wasn't going to work for your good. In the scripture, Joseph's brothers threw him into a pit. They thought they were stopping his destiny, but God used them to push Joseph into his destiny. God ordained them to betray Joseph. It was a part of the plan that God laid out for his life. Without that betrayal, without Potiphar's wife falsely accusing Joseph, without him spending time unfairly in prison, Joseph would have never fulfilled his destiny. It wasn't random, it wasn't bad luck, it was strategic. Are you fighting what God has ordained? Frustrated because a door closed? Bitter because somebody walked away? Without that, you couldn't fulfill your purpose. The enemy didn't come in and somehow take the steering wheel and now he's in control. He doesn't have that kind of authority. The God who breathed life into you, the God who has numbered your days, the God who is for you and not against you is in complete control. You may not understand what happened. It may not have been fair, but if you'll stay in faith, one day you'll see, like Joseph, it wasn't random, it was intentional. It was a setup. God used it to push you forward. If you'll keep the right attitude, all things will work for your good. Not some things, not just the good breaks, but even the loss, the disappointment. It wasn't random, it was ordained by God. Now you have to be so convinced that God is for you that you don't fall apart when life is against you. You don't get bitter because things didn't work out your way. You don't give up on a dream because you had a setback. You know it's a setup, that God has the final say, that He didn't bring you this far to leave you, that Him being for you is more than the world being against you. God has designed your plan knowing every plot against you. He knows every bad break that will happen, every closed door, every disappointment. The good news is God's strategic plan will override every plan that was meant to stop you. That's why Isaiah said, no weapon formed against you will prosper. What they meant for harm, God has already designed a plan to use it for your good. You don't have to live discouraged when negative things come against you, trying to pay people back, frustrated because of a disappointment. Stay in peace. God has it all figured out. He wouldn't have allowed it if it was going to stop you. If Joseph's brothers throwing him into a pit was going to stop Joseph's destiny, God wouldn't have let the brothers do it. God held back the Red Sea. He could have held the brothers back. God allowed it because it was a part of Joseph's destiny. Quit fighting what God has allowed. Without that happening, you couldn't fulfill your purpose. It's a setup. You may not like it, it may be uncomfortable, but if you'll stay in faith, one day you're going to see what God was up to. What looks like a setback is really setting you up for the next level of your destiny. God is about to turn things in your favor. It looks like a setback, but it's setting you up for new levels, for healing, for breakthroughs, for the fullness of your destiny.